As we move toward the more specialized domains of this course, it is beneficial to pause and ensure that the foundational concepts of computer crime and investigative procedures are firmly settled in your mind. This review checkpoint serves to lock in your understanding of the major statutes and the precise mechanics of digital investigations that we have explored in recent sessions. Typically, the transition from identifying a technical anomaly to managing a formal investigation requires a shift in perspective from pure engineering to a more disciplined, evidence-based approach. In practice, the strength of your technical findings depends entirely on the legal and procedural framework within which they were gathered and documented. What this means is that we are consolidating the rules of the digital road to ensure that your investigative actions are always safe, professional, and fully defensible in a legal setting. Before we continue, a quick note. This audio course is a companion to our course companion books. The first book is about the exam and provides detailed information on how to pass it best. The second book is a Kindle-only ebook that contains 1,000 flashcards that can be used on your mobile device or Kindle. Check them both out at cyber.author.me in the Bare Metal Study Guide series. It is worth taking a moment to recall that the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, CFAA, stands as the primary federal tool in the United States for prosecuting unauthorized system access and exceeding authorized permissions. This law provides the legal basis for holding actors accountable when they bypass security controls to obtain data or cause damage to protected computer systems. In practice, the application of this statute often hinges on whether the individual had a legitimate right to be in the system and whether their actions fell within the scope of that authority. Typically, a clear understanding of the CFAA allows the investigator to document the specific technical elements that satisfy the requirements for a federal criminal referral. This legal knowledge ensures that your technical work is aligned with the standards used by prosecutors and the judicial system to deliver justice. Thinking back to our discussion on internal threats, the concept of the behavioral baseline remains the most critical tool for spotting the early warning signs of fraud and system misuse. By establishing a clear picture of what normal activity looks like for a specific user or department, you create a standard against which all anomalies can be measured and evaluated. In practice, this might involve tracking the typical times of day an employee logs in or the standard volume of data they move during their routine duties. Typically, most internal fraud schemes are discovered not through a single dramatic event, but through a series of subtle deviations from this established baseline of professional behavior. What this means is that your ability to detect a rogue insider is grounded in your deep understanding of the organizational norm. A common and potentially devastating mistake in corporate governance is forgetting that legal counsel must formally direct investigations to protect the findings under the shield of attorney-client privilege. If an investigation is led purely by the information technology, IT, department for business purposes, the resulting reports and emails may be discoverable by an opposing side in future litigation. In practice, the lawyer acts as the director of the project, ensuring that every technical step is performed for the purpose of providing legal advice or preparing for a trial. Typically, this legal oversight provides the safe harbor needed for the organization to candidly investigate its own vulnerabilities and failures without fear of immediate public disclosure. This realization highlights why the partnership between the technologist and the lawyer is the most important relationship in any high-stakes investigation. You can effectively reinforce your learning by taking a moment to summarize the key elements that make a professional investigation report both clear to a layperson and persuasive to a legal decision-maker. A successful report avoids excessive technical jargon, uses relatable analogies to explain complex concepts, and is built on a foundation of provable, data-driven facts. In practice, the document should tell a cohesive story of the incident, supported by an executive summary at the beginning and a detailed chain of custody section at the end. Typically, the goal is to provide a narrative that allows a judge or a CEO to understand exactly what happened and who was responsible without needing to be a forensic expert. This commitment to clear communication is what transforms your technical findings into a powerful tool for organizational change and legal success. Picture yourself in a high-pressure boardroom setting, confidently explaining the fundamental difference between a criminal referral and a simple internal policy violation to a senior executive. While a policy violation, such as using a work computer for a personal hobby, is an administrative matter for human resources, a criminal act involves the violation of a specific statute and the intent to cause harm or theft. In practice, the executive needs to understand why the police were called in one instance but not in another, and your role is to provide the legal and technical justification for that choice. Typically, this distinction is what ensures that the organization's resources are focused on the most serious threats while maintaining a fair and consistent professional culture. This level of clarity helps the leadership team manage both the internal morale and the external legal risks of the company. In your professional daily life, you should use the term chain of custody as your constant mental anchor for maintaining the absolute integrity and admissibility of every piece of digital evidence you handle. The chain of custody is the unbroken, documented history of who had access to an item, where it was stored, and how it was moved from the moment of collection until it is presented in court. In practice, any gap or uncertainty in this record can be used by an opponent to suggest that the evidence was tampered with or poorly managed. Typically, a seasoned investigator treats the documentation of the evidence with the same level of technical precision that they apply to the forensic imaging process itself. What this means is that your administrative logs are the ultimate proof that your technical findings are a true and accurate reflection of the digital facts. Reviewing the formal escalation process on a regular basis helps you remember that perfect timing is absolutely critical for meeting the strict legal and regulatory notification deadlines associated with data breaches. In many jurisdictions, the clock for notifying a regulator or the public starts ticking the moment a security incident is first suspected by a technical responder. In practice, a delay in moving the issue to the legal and management teams can result in the organization missing these windows and facing massive financial penalties. Typically, an effective escalation path removes the hesitation and the silos that can paralyze an organization during the chaotic early hours of a crisis. This focus on timing ensures that the organization remains a responsible and legally compliant participant in the global digital economy. It is worth taking a moment to imagine the profound confidence you will have during your certification examination when answering questions about standardized digital evidence handling practices and forensic procedures. You will be able to instantly identify the role of write blockers, the purpose of cryptographic hashing, and the necessity of using static shielding bags for physical hardware. Typically, the exam seeks to validate that you can apply these professional standards consistently across a variety of complex and adversarial scenarios. In practice, this knowledge is what differentiates a qualified forensic practitioner from a hobbyist or an uncertified technician who may inadvertently destroy the very evidence they are trying to save. This visualization serves as a powerful reminder that the energy you have invested in these details is a direct investment in your future professional credibility. Every professional in this field should anchor their knowledge in the fundamental fact that every single technical step taken during an investigation carries a potential and significant legal consequence. Whether you are searching a server, imaging a laptop, or interviewing a custodian, your actions will be measured against the laws of privacy, the rules of evidence, and the standards of professional conduct. In practice, there is no such thing as a purely technical investigation. Every bit you move and every file you open becomes part of the legal record of the case. Typically, the most successful investigators are those who think like a lawyer while acting like an engineer, always considering how their work will be viewed in a courtroom years later. This integrated perspective is what ensures that your investigative work is as legally robust as it is technically accurate. We have now summarized the essential laws, the proven methods, and the professional reporting standards required for conducting high-stakes corporate investigations and uncovering internal fraud. By understanding how these separate pieces fit together, you are building a more resilient and self-aware organization that can defend itself against both internal and external threats. Typically, the most effective security programs are those that foster a culture of transparency, accountability, and continuous technical improvement. In practice, this means that the lessons learned from one investigation are used to refine the playbooks and the controls for the next one. This commitment to the investigative life cycle is what transforms a reactive security team into a high-performing strategic asset for the entire enterprise. A very practical quick win for your study plan today is to list the 5 most important and descriptive items that belong on every professional forensic evidence tag and in the corresponding intake log. These items typically include the unique case number, a detailed description of the device, the serial number, the date and time of collection, and the name of the person who first took custody of the item. In practice, these details provide the identity of the evidence, ensuring that it can never be confused with another item or lost in a busy lab environment. Typically, having these facts clearly labeled on the outside of an anti-static bag is the first sign of a disciplined and well-governed investigative operation. This small exercise helps to turn the abstract principle of integrity into a concrete and repeatable professional habit. Consolidating these fundamental investigation and computer crime concepts now prepares you to master the complex and high-stakes world of intellectual property and trade secret protection in the next phase of the curriculum. As we begin exploring how to safeguard the organization's most valuable and tangible assets, the principles of monitoring, evidence preservation, and legal coordination will remain your constant guides. Typically, the most difficult cases to prove are those involving the theft of ideas or proprietary code, where the technical artifacts are subtle and the legal boundaries are often contested. In practice, the discipline you have developed in this domain will serve as the essential foundation for everything else you learn about protecting the organization's competitive advantage. You are now ready to apply these high-level investigative skills to the world of corporate secrets and innovation. This review session on the essentials of fraud and digital investigations is now complete, and you have successfully reinforced your understanding of the legal and technical requirements for professional response. We have discussed the role of the CFAA, Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, the importance of the behavioral baseline, the value of the executive summary, and the necessity of maintaining a perfect chain of custody. A warm and very productive next step for your memory reinforcement is to take a deep breath and recite the formal definition of spoliation out loud one more time. By repeating the concept of the intentional or negligent destruction of evidence now, you are making it a permanent part of your professional vocabulary and ensuring you are ready for the challenges ahead. Moving forward with this observant and disciplined mindset will help you navigate the next domain with total confidence and ease.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit BareMetalCyber.com.